Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of In the Box Seat. And today we're going in the box seat with my pop, Allan MCcarney. How you going, Pop?
I'm well, thanks, Andrew. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate, good. And we're doing this morning on Oakley Plate Day, special occasion, as this day back in 1964, a horse by the name of Pardon Me won the Oakley Plate. Set out, I think, one out, one back on that day. Bit of a soft track, but he got the job done. So Pardon Me is what we're going to talk about today. He is the horse that we're going to profile. So I'll take you through a few points and then we'll go through some stories with old Pop over here. We'll go back to 1950. So this is Pardon Me, the horse we're profiling today. This is Al, old Pop. I think Pop was about 15 back when this photo was taken, back in the early days in the at the front of the Wellington stables. Now, Pardon Me, he won a few of his major wins were the Cameron Handicap in Newcastle in 1964. He also won the Oakley Plate that same year in 1964. I believe he won the Ascot Handicap in Brisbane in 1962. And I think he might have won an all-age stakes there along the line as well. Just talking to Pop. So he took out a few nice races. He was very unlucky in a Doomben 10,000. And me and Pop will have a bit of a chat about that as the interview goes on. But that's just a few key facts about Pardon Me. Just one more. He's only one of 6 horses to carry 55.5 kilos or more and go on and win an Oakley Plate. So a fair effort for just a bush horse, as he was described early on in his days. So, Pop, I just want to start out by asking you, where did it all start with you and Pardon Me, the connection?
I wanted to leave school. My father told me if I got a job, I could leave school. So I went and see Mr. Horan, and he gave me a job as a stable hand for a couple of weeks, and then he signed me up as an apprentice. Pardon Me then was only a baby. He was heading towards 2-year-old, and we had 12 horses in the stables, but he immediately became my idol.
Yep.
If you understand what I mean.
Yep.
I virtually educated him on the track, in barrier trials, in all that situations.
Yep.
As time went on, he went on and had 2 starts, one at Gosford, one at Wyong, ran second in both of them, missed the start in both of them. He came back to a 2-year-old, which was called the Macquarie Valley 2-year-old at Wellington, and I got the shock of my life when the owner of the horse, Mr. Jack Peterson, came and asked me would I like to ride him. I'd only had 2 or 3 rides at that stage and hadn't ridden a winner, and I was over the moon. Naturally I said yes, I would love to ride him. When they lead me onto him, Beat Horan said, all you've got to do, son, is steer him. He'll do the rest. I did that. I jumped him out. He led him on his ear, and he won on his ear.
Yep.
He was a beautiful horse, and then as time went on, they nominated him for the Doomben 10,000. And there was a flying handicap at Wellington the week before we left Wellington to come to Queensland, and they came and asked me again, would I like to ride him? Of course I'd like to ride him. They led me on. Mr. Horan said, son, do what I told you before, please. Just jump him and steer him.
Yep.
I did that, and he won by a penalty of fencing. I had one other ride in my career and rode winner. I rode 3 winners out of 12 rides. We came to Queensland with Pardon Me. If I had enough time to tell you, you'd enjoy my life story with him. But I haven't. But
Yeah, he was actually, when he did come to Queensland, he was very unlucky in the Doomben 10,000 that year. He definitely should have won.
he definitely should have won the Doomben 10,000. Tommy Smith had a horse in the race called Kilsherry. Tommy Smith went through the media and said that there wasn't a horse in Australia that would lead Kilsherry.
Yep.
And I said to Mr. Horan, there's not a horse in Australia will lead Wilkie, as we call, pardon me. And he said, don't be too cheeky, son. He might be able to lead us. The day of the race, Mr. Horan told the jockey, Johnny McPhee, don't take Kilsherry on. Let Kilsherry lead, you sit behind, and we'll win the race. They jumped, Kilsherry and pardon me took off, and they cut one another's throat. A horse called Red Smoke came from behind, and we run fourth. I'm not sure it was a week or 2 weeks later, pardon me, goes back to Queensland, to Brisbane. I think he had 8 pounds more in weight than what he had in the Doomben 10,000, and he beat them like they were farmyard dogs. That's how he beat them. And then everyone said how unlucky he was in the Doomben 10,000. How far should he have won the Doomben 10,000 by?
If they didn't go breakneck speeds out in front. All right. And he, from the time he left Wellington in those early years to when he come back, that was the only race he was beaten in?
That was the only race he was beaten in, I think, out of 8 or 9 starts.
And
he won at Moree on the way up here.
Yep.
And 8 or 9 starts anyway, and he was beaten once.
Okay. And he should have won the one that he didn't win?
And he should have won the one that he didn't win.
Yep. Yep. All right. So when you did ride him in those early days, what sort of a feel did he give you? Did he have an attitude as a horse? Like, was he easy to ride, or?
He was easy for me to ride, or anyone else to ride.
Yep.
He was a bad horse. He was an animal that he had a vicious act that he used to put on.
Yep.
Other jockeys couldn't hold him when they rode him work. I could ride him on a piece of string. I could do everything with him. Someone else walked in the stable with him, he'd kill him.
Okay.
And that's just how we grew up in there together for 2 or 3 years. Yep. And we loved one another.
And no doubt you would have been with him 24/7 most of the time?
Every minute I had to spare, I was with him. I worked 7 days a week.
Yep.
For £1 a week. Thank you, boys.
And you might have even spent a few nights in his store with him.
I slept with him up here at Ipswich. We stayed in a barn out near Kraft's stables.
Yep.
And I slept in the stall next to him, and between him and another horse called Jillamatong that we brought with us.
Yep.
And we were just virtually inseparable.
Yep.
And that's where I met a bloke called Teddy Ainsworth and Tony Herhart,
Yep.
who I became friends with. We helped one another along with things that young jockeys should do. And
Yep.
And that's how it ended up.
And of course, Teddy Ainsworth, unfortunately passing maybe a year or 2 ago. I think he's now passed, and Tony Earhart's only not far out of riding. He's retired in the last couple of years as well. He went to a good age.
Yes, we're about the same age.
Yep. All right. Do you recall any great memory that stands out between you and Pardon Me over those years? That one sort of memory that jumps out at you?
Well, of an afternoon I used to ride our horses bareback exercise.
Yeah.
One afternoon I was riding Pardon Me along the road where I was told not to ride him, but I did. A truck went past and he took off, and when he took off, of course, I left on the side of the road, laying on the side of the bitumen. Within 2 minutes, Pardon Me was back standing over me, whinnying. And I couldn't believe it, he'd done it, but he did.
Yep. Just come back. Okay.
And like any other horse, it wouldn't, especially being a young colt, he would have just kept going, but he didn't. He come back to where I was.
Yep.
But I had a lot of beautiful memories about him.
It sounds like that connection was just unbelievable. And I was speaking to you on the phone last night, and you mentioned that your memory's sort of starting to fade as you're getting older now, but everything that evolves around, pardon me, you remember.
I remember every second of it, Andrew.
Yep. No,
we had a great life together.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. Well, that's getting to know, pardon me, the great horse he was on this first episode, but I can't let you go because I know you're a keen tipster. Today being Oakley Plate Day, we've come up with a tip. You've got a tip for us in Sydney, race 1, number 4, try a little harder.
That's right.
That's my
tip for the day.
Tip for the day. All right, people, that is the tip. I think it was currently about $3 this morning. I'm not sure if there's scratchings or anything like that, but I might pay to look into that one in race 1 in Sydney. All right, well that's about it for now. Thanks for being in the box seat with me today, Pop.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure, Andrew.
I take great pride in you being my first interview. Hope you can all follow, support me on my way. But that's about it for now, people. Thanks for being in the box seat with Andrew Ackerman.